Dale, similar to your father, obviously she was Dale, but did she think of this character, this Western character, as a separate character? Or it was just...
That was a role that she played. That wasn't her.
So it was a separate role.
Right. She never, that I know of, she never mixed those two characters up. I mean, at home, she didn't wear Western clothes or anything like that. I mean, that just wasn't her. She was strictly a bedroom parlor type. And the character on the screen was a role that she played.
Did she ever take to horseback riding? Or
yes.
She did eventually come to love it.
Well, you know, it's funny. I think she came to love it really early.
Because there's that great quote from Roy about I guess for the first movie they were in, and he said something like, I've never seen so much,
sky
between a woman and a horse. And then
yep.
I think she was afraid her, whenever they got to cover their teeth.
Her caps.
Yeah, her caps were going to fly off.
Yeah.
And all this kind of stuff.
Well, even though she was born in Texas, she wasn't born on a ranch or anything. Her parents had cotton farms. And so she just hadn't been really exposed to that as a kid. Mr. Yates had been to New York and seen Oklahoma and got the idea to do that in a movie. So he already knew he was going to star Dad. And he tried out, I guess, most of the ladies that were under contract or any of those that had a really good voice. From the time that Mom came to Republic, they didn't know quite what to do with her. And she'd done a couple of film noir type things.
Didn't she do a country music?
Yeah, she did one of those. They just didn't know quite where to place her. And then they tried her out for Cowboy and the Senorita. And they said, oh, yeah, she can do Besame Mucho. This is a big band song, so of course she could do it. But they asked her if she could ride a horse. Well, I mean, she's a good actress, even right off from the bat. Yeah. And she says, well, I'm from Texas, aren't I?
Standard actress thing.
And yes, which being in the business, they should have realized that since she didn't answer the question with a yes, that she'd never been on a horse. She'd ridden goats at her one uncle's ranch, but never a horse. So luckily, the first movie didn't call for her riding a horse. But then when she clicked and Yates decided to leave her in Dad's pictures, the next one, she did have to ride a horse. And Dad said it was really embarrassing. So she went over to Griffith Park, like everybody, and took lessons. I mean, I've heard so many actors say that they got the part first and then they went and took the lessons. So, yeah, I mean, but she loved to ride. And she used to go over there all the time and rent horses. And then when she and Dad got married, he bought her a horse so that she could ride. Dad, I don't remember him ever riding for pleasure.
No, really?
Mm-mm. He didn't trail ride with her. I would go ride with her, but Daddy never did.
Interesting. Was Buttermilk yours? I mean, was Buttermilk owned by your family?
Yes, eventually, but not before she used him in the film. He was Glenn Randall's champion roping horse. Glenn had bought him, I don't know, Montana or Wyoming as a 2-year-old. And brought him down and trained him to be his personal roping horse. And he was just an incredible horse. He's a small quarter horse. He could just spin on a dime. So he had all the cowboys after him to sell him and all. And I think, might have even had a couple that he was dickering with. When they had tried the Palomino that Dad had bought Mom, he was too golden, looked too much like Trigger, next to each other. Dad says, oh no, this isn't a happening thing. Then the studio rented her a gorgeous paint horse that was really spectacular, white and sorrel. And you can see a couple of movies with that horse. And Dad wasn't thrilled with that combination because he was so flashy that the camera would pick him up, you know. And so that horse went by the boards. Anyway, I forget where they were. I think up in Lone Pine, when Glenn had his horse with him. And they were tied up together and all. And somebody says, wow, you know, that's an interesting combination. And they decided to try it. And yeah, his name was Soda. And
Makes sense.
yeah, and he was a roping pony. Then Buddy Sherwood, who was the wrangler on, I think, on all of Dad's movies and all, said, oh, you know, look at the sky out there, Dale. It looks like clabber, buttermilk. And Mom says, oh, yeah, and like the Hoagie Carmichaels. I think it was Hoagie Carmichael that did Old Buttermilk Sky. And they decided that that was a better name than Soda.
Oh, wow.
So that's how he got in movies, and that's how he got his name. And it was right there in Lone Pine, shooting Utah, I think, or I don't know. They did... Mom did a couple of movies up there where Dad did 5, but yeah.
Wow. Good. Well, can we finish up with my one final question? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because speaking of your mom, of Dale's role and the horses, now she usually got the 4th billing after Roy, the horse,
Gabby,
and then your mom, even though,
Yep.
you know, she was such a huge part of those films. Did she ever quibble about that or try to get that changed, or did she just kind of have to realize couldn't fight the system? Or
Well, she wrote a song about it called Don't Ever Fall in Love with the Cowboy because he'll love his horse the best. And she talks about the billing in the song.
What did she say about it?
Just that she's always coming up behind.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would imagine because, I mean, she was a very ambitious lady. And I think now that's the one place where the Dale Evans, Frances Smith might have had a conflict, was trying to hold herself back. And bless her heart, ironically, it was right when she married Daddy. They'd only been married for a year or so when she was offered her dream. And that was starring in Annie Get Your Gun in the London Road Company.
Wow.
And she turned it down. Because now, all of a sudden, she had us 3 kids, and where we'd just lost our mother, she couldn't go to London for 6 months or a year. And I think she realized there was no way Daddy was going while she was, you know. And then later, she made another conscious decision for the 2 of them to stay together. She had left Republic when Gene offered her the starring role in his Annie series. And it was at Mom and Dad's house. He came up and offered her the role, and she turned it down. She said she and Daddy talked about it. But, you know, Dad already had an idea for the TV show and all. And he wanted her to work with him. So she turned that one down.
Wow. I didn't know
So,
that.
yeah.